What's up, guys? Mega Bleeder here with another episode of All the Mods 1. Let's get you caught up about what we did between the episodes. Alright, so between the episodes, I did go ahead and upgrade our miner here to a tier 4. And if we turn it on, we can see just how fast it is creating resources. It is quite a bit faster than it was before. Everything over here, we can see all of our mechanism machines kicking on, kind of running full blast. We can see all of our machines here kicking on. It keeps melting things down. Pulverizers that are fully upgraded, so everything is running. Our block placer here, placing down our things to break with our fortune destructor. You can see I also upgraded to the Wyvern energy crystals. These transfer and hold some more power, and you can see like this one, it has 32 wireless links down there in the corner, whereas the other crystals only had 16. So a little bit of an upgrade there. Over here, for some reason, our diesel generator texture has broken, so all we get is the fan. I added some other auto crafting over here. I set up our enchanter to be auto crafting, making blocks of enchanted metal, blocks of evil, magical apples, and magical wood. That way we can auto craft these speed upgrades. I also set a crafter up to make the impulse item duct. So it's melting down glowstone into energized glowstone, and then that goes into a fluid transposer to make the impulse item duct. Today we'll do a little bit more work in our Botania area. Between the episodes, I did open up the portal and automated that, and also automated our mana pool. So our mana pool here is set up to make mana powder, mana pearls, and mana diamonds. Drops it in here, and there's a collector underneath here. Our Elven Gateway portal is open here, and this is set to craft Dragonstone, Pixie Dust, Elemental Ingots, and Dreamwood. There's a range collector set up there. On our sparks here, I did put rune augments. So these upgraded mana spreaders will send this mana into the mana distributor, and then it fills up into the pools, and then it gets pushed out throughout these other sparks. There's a spark under here. You can kind of see it through that mana pylon. So our mana kind of gets automatically filled there. Over here, I did do some more work on our big factory. I moved an automation in here for a trash can. It's automating some of the things from our mob farm. So it's exporting some items that are automatically getting sent out into this trash can. And we do have some refined storage over here. I also automated the additions empowerer and the atomic reconstructor here. So if we go and look at that, and we say, hey, go ahead and craft 10 of these empowered diamantine crystal blocks. I also set up the Draconic Evolution Fusion Crafting Core. That's set up here. And just for right now, I've only automated Awakened Draconium and the Wyvern Fusion Crafting Injector. So we activate that, and then it will output everything into this chest. It has a priority to send this first that has a filter that isn't quite set yet because I did move it. But it does work, and there is power being sent to those from this crystal. This mess here is a further processing of our lithium. Our lithium goes up into these solar neutron activators and gets turned into tritium. And these pumps are pumping out heavy water that gets moved over here and split into deuterium and oxygen. And then that deuterium and that tritium get mixed into DT fuel. Over here, I was testing using the nuclear craft electrolyzer, and this splits water into deuterium and oxygen. And these get split here. This should be working, not sure why it's not. And these get split up. So what happens here is I've got a cloche making carrots. The carrots go into this crusher, it gets turned into biofuel. The biofuel gets mixed with hydrogen into substrate and ethylene. That ethylene, the ethylene gets moved into the rotary condensator and turned into liquid ethylene. The liquid ethylene and the oxygen are mixed with substrate to make HDPE pellets. And then the HDPE pellets are processed in the enrichment chamber to make HDPE sheets. These I needed to make the solar neutron activator. All of this is being used primarily to make the DT fuel, which we are then going to process up to the next floor to be used in our reactor, our fusion reactor, or fission reactor. I'm not sure which one it is. Which one is it? The controller. Fusion. So all we have to do now is, using this laser amplifier, we're going to fire a bunch of energy in here to turn on this reactor. But we're going to need a place to store all the energy created by the reactor. And that's what this guy is for. So I also built this, and it is set up and integrated into our current system. Our reactor over there, you can see it is pulling in all that power, and it is traveling into this draconic orb. Currently, we are at a surplus of 21,000 RF per tick, and we are storing 2.253 billion, which is 0.1% of the entire capacity of this orb, which goes all the way up to 2.14 trillion. So what we're going to do right now is go turn on that reactor. And what we need to do to turn on that reactor is to place a block here, put down a lever, so this laser amplifier has all this power that is going to be turned on when we turn on a high signal, and we'll see an animation happen in there. Let's turn it on. And for some reason, it did not. Well, I think because I have particles turned off. Yes, it is creating power. Okay, so I fixed that. I forgot to activate our fuel, get our fuel set up. I didn't have this set on export. Now it's setting on export. It is pumping DT fuel into the reactor. So now we can see that there is DT fuel in there. I set our injection rate to 2, which is the minimum injection rate for an air-cooled reactor. We're just going to go air-cooled. We're not going water-cooled. So now all we have to do is flip this lever to turn it on. You can hear I left a laser on. I'll probably leave this on to recharge this amplifier just in case our reactor ever turns off. But here we go. Let's turn it on. There we go. So that's a little bit loud, but we can see it's working there. It has completely filled up. It is hot. Let's see if we can figure out how to turn it down. I don't know what would be the specific way to turn it down, but we'll turn it down there. So that's a little bit quieter. Let's connect it to the laser and see how much we are producing. So we got to connect that laser down there to this one here. So now it is pumping. We can see that that laser is on. And ooh, we're at 4.36 million, 4.38 million RF a tick. That's a huge jump. We were at 24,000 before. That was our surplus before. So we are creating a lot more power now. Let's take a look. This is not running very fast. You can kind of look at the output there. So it says 9,744. That's kind of the internal buffer here. What that tells me is that we're outputting about 256 DT fuel per tick. This guy completely emptied because these need to fill up. And it might just be the case that our pressurized tubes need to fill up. If we change this to, let's say, a 4, this would probably have doubled, and it didn't. So I think that it's just trying to fill up that tube right now, if I had to guess. This is all the way upgraded with speed and energy. How much power are we producing now? Actually, I should be able to tell just by clicking on this crystal. 4.37 million RF per tick. And if we change this, let's change it to 6. 4.37. I wonder if maybe in this version, if it doesn't actually change. This is set to input, so this is correct. It's sending it into here. 4.38. So let's try turning it down to 2. Maybe it doesn't actually adjust. Oh, I did not want to do that. Where did that go? I wanted to adjust this to be an input. So the reactor died again. I killed it again. So we can see it should be connected. I don't know why. I don't think this will restart it. There's not enough energy in there to restart it. We are out of deuterium. Dumping excess oxygen. This is working. Need another hull ram. We'll see if we can get this turned back on before the temperature drops too much. Let's get a couple of these. Let's turn that back on to split. Okay, excellent. We got it to turn back on. So it was running hot enough. Okay, so it's hot enough. It was hot enough for me to turn it back on. 200,000 RF per tick. not really changing it. Even if I change... I need more... more heavy water. I think that's just the maximum speed that it's able to produce it. This is going as fast as it can. If I put another speed upgrade in there... No, not that one. If I put another speed upgrade in there, it will start to go down. The heavy water will. Or not? Oh yeah, see. These are now empty. They can't support that much. These tubes will eventually empty out. But it's running now, creating a ton of power. So we're going to use that reactor. In the meantime, while we are going to work on getting other power set up that will be a little bit in the future. So we're going to let that run. It should be okay. If it turns off, we will have energy stored up here. It's going to slowly store up. This laser is charging. And it'll get this charged up. So I'm going to let this run. And then I think the next thing that we are going to do, using some automation here, is making some more mana. I need to create a bit of a mana battery using the Spark network. One way that I have of storing mana right now is by storing full mana tablets in this drawer. So I just kind of throw some tablets in here, let it soak up, and let it put in there. But what we are going to probably use is a lens, a collector crystal, and the Kekamiris flower. So this will consume cake to make mana. And cake can be made through the starlight transmutation with a pumpkin. So we're going to set up a constructor to place down a pumpkin and have it have the crystal turn the pumpkin into a cake, and then the cake be eaten by the flower to create mana. And I think I'm actually going to do that right here. So I'm going to go get some supplies, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I gathered some resources, got a couple of things set up. I ran a cable underneath our floor here that connected into the cable that goes to that constructor over there. So this is set up to export pumpkins, and it's got a crafting card. So it's going to export the pumpkin there, and then here we're going to cover that up. So our pumpkin is there. What we're going to do is take our lens and place it right on top of our mana distributor. And then we're going to go up 2 blocks and put our celestial collector crystal on top of it. Then we are going to link our crystal to the lens, and then link the lens to the pumpkin. And we can see there it's got a little light that is shining on the pumpkin, and that transformed it into a cake. And then if we take our Kekimeris, which I crafted, this takes a rune of gluttony, pixie dust, and some petals. The rune of gluttony is not too hard. A rune of fire, rune of water, pretty simple. But we can place these guys down, and he is connected. We're going to connect him to this one to that one, and that one to that one. It should have kind of already collected there, but we can see we are collecting quite a bit of mana. I'm not sure if this operates on a cooldown, and actually it looks like our lens is being blocked by the Kekimeris. So let's do this. Let's place down a living rock, put our lens there. We're going to select the crystal, link it to the lens, and then the lens to the pumpkin there. There we go. So that's going to let it shine on it. I think there might be, yes, a living rock wall. So we're going to use that. But we can see these guys take bites of the cake, and it's creating mana. We just need to transform the pumpkin just a little bit faster. But it's working. Let's go grab a living stone wall. Or a living rock wall. See if we can get this to look half decent. Yeah, that's not bad. That actually kind of meets up under there pretty nicely. So let's get these guys reconnected to our mana distributor. So now we're creating mana at a pretty decent rate. And the reason we need a lot of mana is the creative items are crafted in the runic altar. So for the creative storage block, we can see here that it's going to take this much mana. Now, the runic altar, we can see it has like these dashes in it. So it kind of has in here how much mana it takes to create it. And that's going off of a, I think this represents a half a mana pool, but I'm not 100% certain. So we can see it's going up there. This might be, it looks like we can still see a little sliver of that black line right there. So it might not be crazy expensive. It might take a bit of mana, but the hope is that we will have a lot of mana stored up in these. And what I think that I'll do at some point is move underground and put a lot of these mana pools to collect a lot of mana that way. But we're creating a lot of mana here. The other thing that we could do is automate this Rosa Arcana. But that's running now, which is pretty cool. This guy is pulling in a whole bunch of power. And look, we have stored a lot of power in here. So that's pretty cool. So one of the things that I want to do is set up a craft for the slate. For, not this guy. This guy is used to create runes, the blank rune. And we need to put an orb in here. We can say, hey, use that one. Because these are used to craft the blood tanks, and using the last one, the tier 16, is what we need to be able to make the creative fluid storage block. So we need a lot of these blank runes. What I'm hoping Oh, I already created that. Okay. What I'm hoping is that we can create an RF tools dimension with these slates. So at RF tools dimension, we need a material absorber. Place this block on top of another block and it will gradually absorb all identical blocks. Yes. So we need one of these. And what I'm curious is if it can absorb these. So what we'll need to do is take this guy outside. We're going to place one down right here and put that guy on top of it. And it is not going to absorb it. So what I was hoping would work is that it would absorb the blank rune and we could use it as a modifier, but it doesn't look like it's going to let us do that. So we're just going to need a lot of these blank runes. So let's go configure this craft and see what it looks like. So I programmed all of the tanks. Let's see if it will calculate what it costs to craft a tier 16. And we want just one. Alright, I'm going to be honest with you guys. I left and came back. So it's been 24 hours since I hit start on this. It took forever for it to calculate this. But what we can see is we're going to need 32,000 of these tier 1 tanks. We're going to need, what, 654,000 blank slates? Wow. That's a lot. That's a lot. We're going to need 65,000 glass. So I think what I'm going to do is set up some exporters. I guess I could click start. If I click start, it would start crafting it. But I'm not sure if it would continue to run in the background. So I'm going to set up some RF tools crafters. These guys here to export the kind of raw materials into and craft it up. So yeah, that's going to take quite a while to get going. But what we'll do is set up an exporter on this to export stone. So we're going to change this from an external storage to an exporter. And we're going to want stone and a crafting card. So exporter, stone, crafting card. I'm going to put some speed upgrades in there as well. We need 2 and a stack upgrade. That way it will work very quickly. So exporter, so we take that stone out. That's going to get into there. So it put in 50 at a time, so it's going to take quite a while for it to finish, but once it does, it'll get ejected into here. This servo will pull out, whoops, So I wasted all that life essence, but that servo will pull that out. And then what I need to do is put an importer on that chest. Once this transforms into slates, it'll get ejected into here, and then it'll get imported into our system. And we'll just have to keep an eye on that, and then once we get up to a crazy amount of slates, then we will know where we are at. What I am going to do, because the slates have a compressed version, I'm going to put a drawer in here, a compacting drawer with these blank slates in it. So compacting drawer, those slates go in there, and we need our key and our tape. We're going to lock it, tape it, and we're going to put it, I'm going to put it right here. We're also going to put some drawer upgrades in it. Let's get 3 of these. Let's get 2 more. There we go. So this is going to fully upgrade it, and now it can hold 1,040 stacks of blank slate blocks. So we're going to let that sit and run for a while. Also, while that was running, our mana pool's filled up, so that's good. Our orb here is still running just fine. It's now 50% full, which is pretty cool. This is turned on and running, and we are backing up on some resources. So let's see what we can do to make that faster. What do we have here? Tin and iron. So what is wrong with the tin line? There's something that's not fast enough. Why is this not... We're not getting enough oxygen. Not creating enough oxygen. Electrolytic separator, electrolytic separator. Your oxygen should be outputting here. No, this is an input? No, this is an output. We're outputting to make the sulfuric acid. Output. Yes. Because we're making the sulfuric acid for these. This just needs upgrades to go faster. Let's make 3 more of these. And those go in there. And then we are going to grab oxygen from over there. So let's get 2 quantum entangloporters. And we are just going to add to our oxygen here. So we are going to create oxygen. We're going to set it to oxygen. Gases on the down is going to be eject. And we're going to put this one over here because we have surplus oxygen. This is full. This is running. So this set it to oxygen. It should be inputting. Let's set this to eject. This is slowly running. We can make this faster. I can make this faster. Let's grab some speed upgrades from nuclear craft. Let's add 8 upgrades, 6,000 RF per tick, 24, 13,000. Go all the way up to 32, 22,000. So we cannot go that high, but we can go right here. We can go to 30, so it's using up 19,840 RF per tick. And that oxygen's getting pulled into here. So that's getting transferred. It should be getting transferred into here. So our tin line should be running better. I need to set you to input. There we go. So our tin line now is running better. Okay. We should be catching up and processing our tin and our iron. Tin, copper. Copper is working well too. Everything should be working. We were low on oxygen, but we got that built back up. We've got oxygen all the way down here, so that's good. So tin and copper and iron have some catching up to do. I could probably make upgrades for these, and it would process these faster, but I don't think that's entirely necessary. We just need to let this catch up. Awesome. So what else are we going to be working on? So let's fight the Gaia. I think that'll be a good spot, and it is one of the next materials that we need. We need the Gaia spirit ingot. For that, we need Gaia spirits. So we need to visualize this, and we're going to place it down right here, dead center of the top of our base. I think that's going to be a fun spot to do it. So we need to place the pylons down. And I think this will be a valid arena to be able to fight the Gaia. If not, we'll have to move it and find another spot. But I think this will be a cool spot to do it. We will have to break this light. Wrong block. Beacon there. We're not going to set up a full beacon, but I think that is going to be a valid space. Now, is that messing with our light down here? No. So let's put that away. We are going to need a Terra steel. So from Botania, we're going to need mana steel ingot. Let's make a stack of those and a stack of those. And we should be able to see that automation working over here. We can see it's dropping the items in. This dropper is dropping the items in. And then they're getting picked up by this ranged collector down here. And then they're being imported by our system. So we need mana pearls, mana diamonds, and then we use these to create a Terra steel. So we click that, that, and that. Oh, they're getting picked up by that range collector over there. I need to put a lever on that, or I need to move this. I don't necessarily want to move this because it's right where we need it to be. Let's put a lever on that and see if that works. So if we put it here and say redstone on, we'll see if that works. You, and you. Yes, that's working. Excellent. So that created a terrasteel. So if we click these on here, we can see it's going to pull in mana from all of the available mana pools. And since there are so many, it does it really quickly. And it's emptying mana out of these. It takes a half a mana pool to create every terrasteel ingot. So let's see. We're going to use this armor. We're going to use our sword here. Let me think if there's anything else that we're going to want to use. We'll take our shield and our bow. And we're going to try and fight it. Now, this fight is really loud. So I'm probably not going to talk during it because I'm going to have to turn down the volume in editing. Okay, so we need to put down some more blocks. We need to go out 1, maybe 2 more block spaces. So let's grab some of that dirt. It's this stuff here. And if we come out that far, let's go all the way over to that edge. Okay, let's try it now. So just a little bit more. Let's go 3 blocks. Oh, I didn't do these ones. Let's try it now. Might die. Alright guys, truth be told, that took a lot longer than what I expected. I wanted to upgrade my armor, and I decided on the ultimate set. So I had to get into Armor Plus, had to craft this guy. To make this, we needed a lot of the ultimate material, needed a lot of Ender Dragon scales, Wither Bones we get, Charged Lava Crystal, we're already getting this. So using our Woot farm, I actually went and collected a Guardian from over here. So I got that set up and I let it sit for a little bit. I collected a Ghast. Went to the Nether because we needed ghast tears. I went to the end and got our zombies to go ahead and get a bunch of the scales that we needed for that, and crafted up all of the pieces here. Alright, so we're going to make the ultimate armor. We've got the helmet, chest plate, leggings, and boots. So this has the most overpowered armor ability, I guess. It automatically comes with mending on it. So hopefully, blindness, poison. Okay, so water breathing, regen, saturation. Okay, seems pretty cool so far. We'll save these. So now, let's try one more time. The Gaia fight. Okay, so we take a lot of damage. Alright, we got him. So we got 6 Gaia spirits from that. We got a whole bunch of loot here. It did get pretty close to killing us, so I'm not sure. I think I can put protection on these. It says that I could put enchantments on it. So I might try that. I don't know what would work the best, but we killed them. And with the Gaia spirits, we can make the Gaia spirit ingot. And that will go in here, get us closer to crafting our acceleration wand. So what we have left is the adamant ingot from Tinker's alloy add-on, the awakened draconium ingot, the hot tungsten steel ingot, and this item, I'm not sure what it is, but it's from Abyssal Craft. So it's from Abyssal Craft. This is a kind of exploration / magic mod where you go into different dimensions, and maybe we'll work on this, or maybe we will work on the hot tungsten steel ingot from Tech Reborn next. So we'll have to get into a little bit of that, but that's part of the reason why this factory is built, so that up here on the second floor, and maybe possibly on the first floor, we can add in Tech Reborn machines. But now that we fought the Gaia, our armor could be better, so I'm not sure. This does have the armor experience levels. I'm not sure what that means. I'll see if I can find some information on that, or we might end up upgrading to draconic armor. This stuff is really super powerful, and we can also upgrade it. So that's something that we might do in the near future if we have to fight the Gaia some more, or maybe if we run into some mobs that are particularly difficult to eliminate. But now that we've got that done, we are about halfway. We're about halfway, a little bit past halfway to our acceleration wand, which is part of the things that we're working on to finish out the series. So we've got the creative mill, creative controller, storage block, fluid storage block, and then the acceleration wand. So it'll be nice to finish checking some things off of that board. This board we can pretty much remove. Better mining, better power, we've got that. We've definitely got that handled. So thanks for stopping in.